Hello, I'm Maria, and today we are going to learn how to fix the deceptive site ahead error. Imagine that an internet user is searching for a website just like yours. Your SEO efforts have paid off. Your site lands at the top of their search results, and the potential customer clicks the link, only to be met with a warning that there's a deceptive site ahead. But you're not trying to deceive anyone. Why would Google show a warning about your site? While this message can be alarming, the good news is that website warnings like deceptive site ahead can be fixed. In this video, we will find out what these warnings mean and how to remove them from your website. But before we get too far, I want to let you know that there will be links to more resources in the video's description. And remember, subscribe and ring that bell to get notifications for future helpful content. So let's get started. Finding out your website has a warning is a shock. Your first reaction might be to assume there's nothing wrong with your site. After all, you know that you didn't put anything dangerous on it, but someone else might have. We've all read about cyber attacks on major corporations in the news, but it can happen to the little guys too. In fact, 46% of data breaches happen to small businesses. Common types of website hacks include URL injection, which is when a hacker creates spam pages on a site, and content injection, like adding keywords and gibberish text. If you get one of Google's warnings, it may indicate that you've been hacked. It's also possible that you've set up your site in a way that Google doesn't like. Reasons for the warnings include: your site has been infected with malware. Your site contains phishing pages. There's an issue with your SSL certificate. Your WordPress themes and plugins have security vulnerabilities. Your website has questionable links. You offer suspicious downloads. To get the warning removed, you'll have to resubmit your website to Google and ask to have it unflagged as dangerous or deceptive. Fortunately, this is a pretty simple process, which we will go over in a moment. No website is 100% secure. Hackers develop new tricks all of the time, and if you're a website owner, there's always a chance that you'll be the next victim. That said, the majority of cyber attacks can be prevented by following a few best practices. Here's our top tips for keeping that bright red warning page from greeting visitors to your site. It's essential that any software on your website, whether your core CMS program, plugins, or theme, is up to date. Developers update software in response to new security threats, but your site is still vulnerable if you're running an old version. A study found that 49% of hacked WordPress sites were running outdated versions of the CMS at the time of infection. And don't forget about your plugins. Plugins are a great feature of WordPress, but it's easy to add a bunch and never think about them again. Each plugin is a gateway for your hacker to gain access to your site. To be as safe as possible, update them all regularly and avoid using nulled plugins. There's no shortage of plugins designed to enhance WordPress website security. The problem is that many of them cause site performance issues. That's why we've banned some of them from Kinsta sites. If you're hosted on Kinsta, our free hack fixes and the security features built into our hosting solution mean that you don't need third-party security tools. But for site owners using other hosting services that might want to use a WordPress plugin, we recommend two in particular: Securi or WordFence. Site owners using Google Search Console should get email warnings about security issues, but it can't hurt to check in from time to time. Plus, Search Console has many other features that help your site's performance and search engine optimization. Keeping an eye on this tool can make your website better. A surprising number of hackers gain access to your website in a simple way. They use your password. Be careful about who has login credentials for your site. Ensure that everyone on your team is following best practices, like using a password manager, and that they understand how to avoid scams like phishing emails. As a website owner, you can only do so much to ensure your site is safe. For server-level security, you need to find a host you can trust. A few things your host can do to keep those warnings off of your site are: protect websites with firewalls like Cloudflare, provide automatic updates for security releases, offer two-factor authentication, Automatically backup websites. You've found your website's security issue and cleaned up the site. Now what? To resubmit your site to Google, you're going to use, you guessed it, Google Search Console. Here's how. Double check that you've removed the harmful content from your website. If you used a security scanner to find the malware, rerun it. Submitting your site without fixing the problem will cause additional delays. To review your website, Google has to be able to crawl it. Make sure you haven't blocked Googlebot through no index tags or any other method. Finally, this may seem obvious, but it's a mistake made before. If you brought your site offline to deal with the hack, make sure it's live again so that Google can check it. Go back to your Google Search Console. On your security issues report, click the Request Review button. This will take you to a form that asks you to describe what you did to fix the problem. Write a sentence for each of the security issues detected. For example, if you received the errors hacked, content injection, and harmful downloads, you could write, for content injection, I removed the spammy content and fixed the vulnerability by updating my WordPress plugins. For harmful downloads, I replaced the third-party code that was distributing malware downloads on my website. If your website has been flagged for phishing specifically, you can submit it for review through Google Search Console as described. If you see the "Did you mean site name" message, submit your site through this link, not the Search Console. How long it takes for Google to review your website depends on the type of security issue. If Google finds that your website is clean, the warning should be removed within 72 hours. If Google determines that you haven't solved the problem, the deceptive website warning will remain in place. Your security issues report might start to display more sample infected URLs to help you track down the malicious content. If your website is also showing warnings on Safari or Firefox, don't worry. You don't have to go through a separate review process for each browser. Firefox and Safari, as well as many other browsers, get their information from Google Safe Browsing Lists, a set of frequently updated lists of unsafe web resources. The exception is for users in mainland China, where Safari may use lists from Tencent rather than Google. If you get your website cleared with Google, the warnings will also be removed from other browsers. Looking for quality local development solution? With Kinsta, in a single click, you can design, develop, and deploy new WordPress projects from your local machine. Plus, it's 100% free to use, even if you aren't a Kinsta customer. Download it today at kinsta.com/devkinsta. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tutorials, explainers, and helpful content like this.